Guys, are you wondering why I'm sitting on the staircase today? Well, if it's your first time, I'm sure it doesn't sound or look like it's a big deal. But the people that have been watching know that something is up. And so I'm going to tell you the truth. Nothing but the truth. So jejely, I was on my own. Planned my shoots, everything, as usual. Ready to speak some English and give you some info on mental health. That's how NEPA decided to take lights. Because what? Small breeze blow. Small breeze, not be rain. Small breeze, NEPA took light. But I told myself, I must do this thing. I must have this recording. So I decided with my very brilliant producer to come and sit down by the staircase and make sure that I do this for you guys. Why? Because Nigeria will not give me mental health issues. You see, if you live in Lagos, you are living by the grace of God. You are not a normal human being. I want you to say, if you are living in Lagos right now, put your hand on your chest and say, I am living in Lagos by the grace of God. Because Lagos is an interesting place. Let's not go too deep. One of those days I was driving, around that toll gate area. You know how toll gates can be now? Not toll gates towards Ajao, toll gate after Lekki Phase 1. So I was going to the island, not the part of the island that is Lekki Phase 1, the part of the main island like Victoria Island. And while we were driving, the usual slow down and then, cars will pass and everything. There was this traffic jam, which is usual there. And then next thing we knew, somebody comes out of their car. Of course, when you're in your car, except if your car AC they work, you're going to hear everything. But if your AC they work, you will hear up. So this guy comes down from the car, slams his car, and he's shouting at the car behind him, "Come down!" Hitting the guy's bonnet, "Come down! Come down!" Everybody was that one. I trust Lagosians, we like gist, so nobody moved as fast as they should because we wanted to know what the gist was. This other guy comes down. Me, I shall shook my head outside, make I hear everything they happen. So what happened? This guy, small bashing, dent am, breaking backlight, give am major dent, stain the paint, he just touch am. But the guy whose car was hit came down and was screaming and yelling and, what's wrong with you? You must be crazy. Do you know who I am? And I'm asking myself, how does "do you know who I am" enter the conversation of "I'm sorry, it was just a mistake"? Like, it's clear that it was not a big deal. But you see this thing we call road rage. That's what this guy was actually exhibiting. Road rage, you need to go and see a counselor. It's not normal. Don't lie to yourself. I know a lot of us do it in Nigeria or do it in Lagos. Hey, bag. No. Road rage is a sign of mental health issues. And that's basically what we're going to be talking about today. So hang in there. I have more gist for you. Talking about mental health issues. Today, I want to be addressing mental health issues. How do you know that you need to go and see a counselor or a therapist? How do you know you have mental health issues? So I'll start by saying this. Every single human being who is living and is alive, at some point in your life, you will go through some challenging issues. You will go through some life challenges that would, test your foundation or test who you are as a person, right? Either you will lose somebody, you will lose something. You go through heartbreak. I never go through heartbreak before. You go through heartbreak. Either heartbreak from your best friend betraying you, or from your friend breaking your heart, or from your boyfriend or that guy you had a crush on. A lot of things will happen. You will lose either your mom or your dad or some very close loved one, or you may even experience some sort of anger that got you to the point where you want to smash something or stab somebody, or so many things will happen to you and you don't know what this feeling is. Some people say it's normal. I've heard people say things like, "I dey quick vex. Now one bone I get." And I'm asking myself, please, which one is one bone? I beg go, that's what I do. This is how I am. I always say my mind. No, you have mental health issues. That's a sign of a mental health issue that you have, because a human being is meant to behave a certain way. A human being is meant to be cordial. You have a brain, you have a conscience. There are certain ways you behave that shows that you are livable, or shows that you are able to communicate very well with other people around you. When this becomes a problem, or when you struggle with these things, then there's a mental health concern somewhere. So today, I'm going to be giving you a few things, pointers, to know if you need to go see a counselor right away, okay? And I'm going to be looking at my book because I want to be sure that I'm giving you authentic information, all right? So one of the ways to know that you have mental health issues, or to understand and see that people around you may have mental health issues, is feeling anxious or worried, right? When you're constantly anxious, you're constantly, they say do this, you're worried, as in like you're just excessively worrying over something, whatever the issue is, that's a sign that you need to go talk to a counselor or a therapist, okay? Feeling depressed or unhappy. You used to be a good person, used to be okay, used to be fine, but suddenly you're feeling very depressed, you're feeling like life has no meaning, you're feeling very unhappy, you are sad, you are not your usual self, and it's affecting you, Sometimes it even affects your appetite. Sometimes it affects the way you relate with people, right? Emotional outbursts. That's another way to know that you have mental health issues and you need to see a counselor. You have emotional outbursts. Emotions like extreme sadness, like you just start crying, or you start being so sad, or you are angry. All those people that used to shout, I get one boy, this is you, okay? Emotional outbursts. You're angry. Sometimes you're so angry you will jack somebody. You're so angry you will punch the wall and there'll be a dent on it. You're so angry that some people even get to the point where they cut themselves when they're angry. That is extreme. You need to go see a counselor, okay? All those emotional outbursts are actually signs of, mental health issues. Sleep problems. You used to sleep okay, but this problem has happened to you. Suddenly you can't sleep in the night, and you say things like sleep is for the weak. Uncle and auntie, sleep is not for the weak. The people I'm talking to, they know themselves. Sleep is not for the weak. You need sleep. Anything that impairs your sleep, anything that stops you from sleeping at least 6 to 8 hours, not deliberately. Some people, they used to wait for night to come. Not those people. I'm talking about people who normally you sleep well, and suddenly you can't seem to find your sleep. You find yourself awake, you're worrying. That's a sign that you need to go and see a mental health counselor. Now, weight gain or, appetite change. So you're suddenly gaining weight. There's a reason why you're gaining weight suddenly. It's not because you are pregnant. I'm not talking about people that are getting pregnant or people who are just eating. Now, appetite change also explains this, because when you start eating excessively or when you stop eating, it's a sign that something is wrong. You need to go see a counselor, okay? Now, I'm going to run through the rest of them. If you're more quiet or more withdrawn than normal, you need to go see a counselor. Substance abuse. Suddenly, you like to smoke igbo. Suddenly, you like to smoke cigarettes. Suddenly, you want to be drinking 4 bottles from 1 bottle, You're using it to douse something that's going on with you, and that means you need to see a counselor. Or you suddenly feel guilty or worthless. So I'll give you a gist at this point now. There was a time when I was in a group of people, and how you're a group of people, like an event, a seminar, and all of that. And at this point, I was meeting people, I was myself, I was everything, until one of the people I was hanging out with on the table came, and then she gave her CV. Like, she gave some things that she had gone through in life, and then how she was able to manage it. I don't know, from nowhere, I started feeling guilty, like, oh my God, I haven't done this. Hey, look at my life. Am I good enough? All that happiness was drained away. I couldn't talk as much as I could talk, earlier on. I couldn't even look at people in their eyes anymore at that point. That point was when I realized that there was something wrong. Thank God that they have cured it for me, and now I'm helping other people deal with it. So if you ever find yourself in this situation where you're feeling guilty for something you've done or you've not done, you feel like you're not good enough, they say come and take 2 plates of rice. You say no, please, thank you, take 1. You have mental health issues. You go for a buffet. Instead of you to take from all the different plates, you just tell yourself, I am humble, I come from a humble background. You go and take 1 plate. You have mental health issues. Because, let me not give you that one. I'll mention it another time. But this is a sign that you have mental health issues, okay? Suicidal thoughts. You want to kill yourself. You want to cut yourself. Life is not enough. That's a sign. High risk behavior. Suddenly, you want to enter power bike that is speeding the kind of speed they do in Fast and Furious. And you say you just like the energy it gives you. Uncle, you have mental health issues. You need to go and check that out, okay? Strange thoughts. When you start having strange thoughts, things like, what if this person is angry with me because yesterday the way I looked at her As in, you start connecting dots that doesn't make any sense. You start thinking people are looking at you, or you start thinking somebody is plotting against you. You know, the village people syndrome. You start saying, village people are after me. Suddenly, you notice that your neighbor is wearing red the day you are wearing red, and you tell yourself, they told me. Or you start looking for prophets that will say something in your head just to confirm whatever it is you're feeling. My sister, my brother, you have mental health issues. Now, this is just a few I have mentioned, but if you know anybody around you who is, overly critical, for example, let me even give you just there. There was this food show I was watching, and there were 3 people. They were meant to cook the same meal, 3 different people, and then each of them will critique the meal and all of that. Everybody gave a critique of each other's meal very simply and openly. There was this particular sister. She damaged everybody's food. This one, the oil is not enough. The oil is not even tasting. I can taste the water more than the stock cube. I can do this. And I'm like, auntie. As in, she literally murdered everybody's meal. When you are overly critical of others, it shows that you have a mental health concern and you are overly critical about yourself. Usually, people like that are dealing with superiority complex. So you see sometimes, people are trying to feel big, like they're bigger than others. If you've watched Shrek and you know Lord Farquaad, he actually wore shoes to make him look taller because he was small and he wasn't comfortable in his skin. So, these are the issues. So when you notice all these kind of things, it means that you have mental health issues. There are so many more, and we're going to talk about them more in the episodes. What should you do? This is where I round up on my video. What do you do? When you notice any of these things, all you need to do is go find a therapist. I am a mental health counselor, marriage and family therapist, okay? So you can reach out to me using the contacts in the description, below. But if you do not feel like you need to see a counselor or any of those things, the danger of that is that you will go through life and adapt to bad behavior and think that everything is fine with you. And by the time you realize that you've gone too far, it will not be too late actually, but you will have done a lot of damage you could have saved yourself by just simply going to see a counselor. A mental health counselor helps you, demystifies all the problem because they are professional trained. Just like your doctors are trained, mental health counselors are trained to help people deal with life challenges, okay? So if you notice any of these things or extreme cases of amnesia where you're forgetful, go see a mental health counselor. And this is where I leave you. Do not play with your mental health. It is very, very important. Take these words from me and turn your life around today. All right. Bye.